going on up here? Um, that's weird. Nope, I'm making it worse. Hey, this is Alec. Welcome to White Whale Comics. So, the X-Men. You know them. You love them. Maybe you hate them. I don't know. But the X-Men are cool. They've been around a long time, since like 60 something. And they're created by Stan Lee, and you know the deal. I don't need to tell you who the X-Men are. I should start this over. Hey, so today I'm going to be talking about the X-Men. You know them, you love them. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. I don't know you. I know some of you. Boy, that was worse than the first one. Let's try this again. So today I'm going to be talking about the X-Men. Fairly popular series. You probably know them. You probably love them. Maybe you hate them. I don't know. That'll do. I was kind of inspired by Reggie he put out a couple videos about 5 books that maybe are under the radar that might go up in value based on things that could be happening after House of X and Powers of 10 with the new series that were announced. And if you don't know, now you know, I like speculation. I know that is a big strike, big X against me. X, get it? X. But I think it's fun, especially when you really do a deep dive and look for things that are maybe a little obscure or off the radar. And so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to pick 5 books that are just kind of out there. I don't expect any of these books to do anything on the market. I don't expect them to spike. I don't expect anyone to care about them. But what do I do with my face? What is this? That's no good. So let's dive right in. The first book that I am going to talk about is probably no surprise to anyone who knows me. It's Generation X #1. Nice shiny 9.8. Really thick slab. Best cover of all time. But I'm not talking about Jubilee. For once. I know. I'm talking about this guy. His name is Chamber. He's got fire beard. I wish I had a fire beard. That'd be cool. He's kind of not an important character. Nope. I am not going to set fire to my beard. Thought about it for a second? Bad idea. But he's also front and center on the cover of the New Mutant series. So maybe he's going to be something. Anyway, you should buy this book. It's awesome. You can find it in dollar bins. And it's got a great cover. And it's a wraparound. And it's by Chris Bachalo. And it's shiny. And Julie's on it. Generation X #1. I know what you're thinking. I said this was going to be like a deeper dive into like weird books that maybe you haven't thought of. And seeing a character right on the cover and saying, oh, here's his first appearance, maybe that's going to be important. Yeah, I know. That one was lazy. The next book I want to talk about is this book. This is the run of Astonishing X-Men from 2017, I want to say, where Professor X comes back after being killed by Cyclops, and he comes back in the body of Phantom X. It's a whole thing. But at the end of issue 6, he reveals himself to be Professor X, now going by X. And this is his first cover appearance, I guess. It's a variant cover by Phil Noto. And this is the current iteration of Professor X, the weird one we get in House of X, wearing Cerebro and being all quiet and mysterious and cult-like. So issue 6 is, I guess, if we're going by the Wolverine rule, the cameo of the character X. And this issue is his first appearance. And this is his first cover appearance, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, Phil Noto cover. Cool. But, I mean, Seems like he's going to play a pretty big role. Either way, rad cover. Phil Noto. Cool book. Number 3.5, because I talked about 2 books last time, is this book. New Mutants 18. I love this cover. It's awesome. It's the first appearance of Warlock and Magus and Demon Bear. But what do those characters have to do with anything that we are seeing so far about the new X-Men titles? Nothing. But let me rewind for a second. This is Uncanny XMen 141. It's the first appearance of Rachel Summers / Rachel Gray, whatever. But it's in the future. And this book is her first appearance in current timeline. I had to take a lot of time kind of like figuring out if that was exactly the case. But it seems to be. I don't know if that means anything or if that's important, but I find it interesting because time travel. It's a weird thing. To make it simple, Rachel Summers / Rachel Gray, first in current timeline. Nailed it. Before we get to the real confusing one, let's do a simple one. This miniseries from the 80s, it's called Magic, Storm and Ileana. It's 4 issues. From what I remember, it's not very good. But it's the first time Magic turns into Darkchild, not to be confused with this Darkchild, if anyone remembers that book from the 90s. First time she turns into Darkchild with the horns, pretty badass. And the first time she gets a soul sword. It's 2 big, important parts of who she is now. Spec. So the last one is going to take a fair amount of explaining. Try to do it as quickly as possible. A lot of people have been confused about the 2 Psylocke thing. Because there's Betsy Braddock, who's now becoming Captain Britain in Excalibur. And then there's Psylocke. But isn't she Psylocke? So, Betsy Braddock, her first appearance is Captain Britain number 8. She's his sister. And then in New Mutants Annual 2, there's this whole thing with the Mojoverse, and she is referred to as Psylocke. And then in Uncanny XMen 256, she comes back as a Chinese woman named Psylocke. It's this whole thing where she washes up on the shore of a beach, and the hand does this thing, and they find her, and she doesn't have a memory, and they put her consciousness, I guess, into a woman named Quanon, and so I guess this is her first appearance. That's confusing. And then Quanon becomes this character named Revanche. Is it French? That's weird. Anyway, X-Men 17 from the 90s is her first appearance. So they re-split Betsy and Quanon. And Quanon dies and then comes back to life. And so this version of Psylocke that looks like Psylocke is Quanon, Betsy, Quanon, Captain Britain, Psylocke. And after she died in some book, probably should have looked that up, that would have been helpful. Anyway, X-Men 256, first appearance of Quanon. X-Men 17, first appearance of Revanche. And then this book, Hunt for Wolverine, Mystery and Mad Report number 4, that's a mouthful. This is the book where Quanon returns from the dead. And I guess is now Psylocke. Comic books are confusing. I feel like I did a terrible job explaining why these books are important. Let me try again one more time. Sum it up. Generation X number 1. First appearance of Chamber. He's in New Mutants. Astonishing X-Men number 7. Phil Noto variant. First cover appearance of Professor X as X. Cerebro. New Mutants number 18. First appearance of Rachel Summers in the current timeline. She's in this X-Men book. I forget which one, but I'll put a picture up. Magic. Storm and Ileana. Specifically issue 4. Probably should have mentioned that earlier. That's the issue where she gets the sword and the horns and everything. And she's here on this book. And finally, Hunt for Wolverine, Mystery Magipore, number 4. The return of Quanon, who's Psylocke. This Psylocke, not that Psylocke. That Psylocke is Betsy. I'm probably not going to put all these pictures up. Why do I keep pointing? This is like making way too much work for me. So this probably wasn't that useful or helpful or even entertaining. But I hope it was. And I hope you guys can find some cool X-Men books or X-Men related books that might be under the radar for some people too. If you know of any, put them in the comments. They don't have to be something that's going to like blow up and be a $150 book. It could just be a dollar find. That's just cool. Because it relates to something that's happening and maybe you want to read about it. Or just have it in your collection. That's all I've got for today. I never really know how to end these things. Thanks for watching. Never turn your back to the ocean.